So 25 years ago, my wife and I were met at the door by a couple of women whom I thought were going door to door peddling their religion, as some do. And it turns out they were from Child Protective Services. They had come to check out reports that we had been neglecting our children at that time, who were 5, 8, and 10 years of age. They received reports that really is not necessary to put into this video. But after some investigation, eventually, after 8 months, we were exonerated. What happened was they supposedly sent investigators out to talk to our kids at the school with parents not there to find out what had actually happened. And the principal, who was a friend of ours, said, no, those people never showed up. They never came. The entire report that the Department of Children and Protective Services had made on us was completely false. We went down to the CPS and talked to them, and the woman in charge said, well, since you were exonerated, why do you care? I said, well, what if we were these horrible parents that we were accused of being, and we ended up killing our children? But your report says that there was no threat of danger. I said, your signature is on that form, and the signature of this woman who'd made the report, and another woman. And I said, all three of you would have your butts in the sling because we killed our children. And she took that under advisement. And before you know it, those two women had been fired by the Department of Children and Services. Okay? A couple of years later, I talked to a lawyer about that. I said, is it possible to have this expunged from our records since we were proven to be exonerated? He said, no, you don't want to do that. You want to leave it on the record that you were exonerated, so if anybody else were to bring an accusation against you, there's a record that you've been proven innocent in that case. So why is that important today, all of a sudden? Why am I bringing this up? I just got a text, I guess, an alert from the news on my cell phone. They said now they're going to honor Juneteenth as a national holiday. Okay, that doesn't bother me in the slightest. What bothers me is the sheer hypocrisy of doing that. Ever since that church shooting several years ago when 9 people were gunned down, I'm not in favor of that at all, don't get me wrong. But to go, as a result of that, tear down every Confederate flag, make states change their flag that they've had for decades, to pull down every vestige of the Confederacy, to remove the words slave and master from our vocabulary, and then all of a sudden to say, we're going to have Juneteenth as a holiday from freedom of slavery? My question is, if you've removed all the vestiges of slavery in our past, what are you being freed from? The next generation will ask, what is Juneteenth all about? And the parents will say, well, that's the day that we were freed from slavery. And they'll say, what slavery? You never have been a slave. You've never been oppressed. There's no history of slavery in our country. Never has a white person enslaved a black person. That's all a conspiracy theory. Do you see the hypocrisy here? They want to get rid of all the vestiges of slavery in our country, and yet they want to have a holiday to celebrate the ending of slavery. So get ready for the question now. What's slavery?